Morning, children. In today's class, we are going to learn what is the meaning of the word dishonor of a bill and what is its accounting treatment. Till last class, we have discussed all the four cases for accounting treatment which related to honor of bill, which means the drawee made the payment of the bill on maturity. So, dishonor means opposite of honor. In simple word, it means whenever drawee fails to make the payment of the bill on the maturity to the holder of the bill, it is known as dishonor of bill. So let us see what it says. Dishonor of a bill means a situation when the acceptor, that is drawee of the bill, does not pay the amount on date of maturity. In simple words, when drawee fails to make the payment of the bill on its maturity, it is known as dishonor of a bill. In such a situation, the holder of the bill can recover the amount from the drawer or any of the previous endorsers. See, the holders can be different people. If the bill was retained, holder will be drawer himself. If the bill was discounted with the bank will be the holder of the bill. If bill was endorsed to a third party, endorsee will be the holder of the bill. And in case of bill sent for collection, drawer is the holder of the bill. So whoever is the holder of the bill can very well recover the amount from the drawer. That means if the bank is having bill on dishonor, bank can demand the amount from drawer. Similarly, if the bill was endorsed previously and it gets dishonored, then the endorsee can recover the amount from the drawer. That means any of the previous endorsers. I hope this line makes it clear. Now, whenever bill gets dishonored, there has to be a reminder sent to the drawee for making the payment for amount due on bill. If still the drawee fails to make the payment of the bill, then the holder of the bill can take a legal action by approaching to notary public in the court. So let us see how a legal action will be conducted. In case the drawee fails to make the payment even after the reminder given to him, then the holder of the bill may present the bill through a notary public and get the dishonor of the bill noted, that means registered, that the bill got dishonored due to failure on the part of the drawee to make the payment. For all this, there will be charges and expenses which will be charged by the notary public, and noting is the recording by the notary public that the bill was dishonored on it being presented for payment. Now, noting is made of the following. What are the points which should be included in noting? These are the points which are included whenever the noting of bill is made. Number one, that the bill is dishonored. Number two, the date of the dishonor of bill. Number three, the reason, if any, for the dishonor. Number four, the fee charged by the notary public, that is noting charges. So for getting the bill registered for noting through the notary public, there are a lot of legal expenses which are met by the holder of the bill who is taking this legal action against the drawee. And those charges are known as noting charges. It is an expense, so we will have to take count of it in our accounting treatment. Now, the advantage of this noting is that it is an evidence of dishonor. This noting is legal evidence of dishonor of bill. Otherwise, verbally, it does not mean anything. Now we are going into the accounting treatment of the cases of dishonor whenever the bill is not paid by the drawee to the holder. So we will have to see all those four cases which we have discussed in honor of the bill once again. But this time the condition applied is that the bill is not honored, it got dishonored. So we must take consideration that now the bill will not be paid on the date of maturity, it will remain unpaid. And here is the accounting treatment, and entries in the books of the drawer for dishonor of bill goes under all those four cases. So first we are going to see in the books of the drawer the entries one by one in all those four cases. Children, before I go into this, I'm making it very clear. In the book of the Droid, there is only one entry for dishonor under all four cases. I repeat, in the books of the Droid for dishonor, there is only one entry. But the entry changes only when we are doing it in the book of drawer. So let us take case 1, and case 1 is when the bill was retained or it is retained by the drawer till maturity and it gets dishonored for non-payment by the drawee. So this is our case 1. All the other entries regarding sales, drawing of bill, those remain same. But on date of maturity, when the bill gets dishonored for non-payment, the entry is drawee account debit to bills receivable account to cash account. I repeat, drawee account debit to bills receivable account to cash account. Being bills receivable dishonored and noting charges paid by the drawer. So let me explain you this. In this case, drawer himself is the holder of the bill. So the legal action in notary public will be taken by the drawer. So he is going to make the payment of all the noting charges. Now, why have we debited drawee in the journal entry? Because whenever the bill gets dishonored, we have to reverse the entry which we have passed when the bill was drawn. So, if you all remember, for bills drawn in the book of draw, the entry is bills receivable account debit to drawee. So, you have to reverse this. It will become drawee debit to bills receivable account. It is cancellation of that bill which was drawn previously by the drawer on the date of sale. Now the drawee again becomes the debtor of the drawer because drawer has to collect money from him. And for whatever is the noting charges paid by the drawer, we have to write it separately to cash account. This is related to the noting charges paid by the drawer on making the bill noted to notary public or through notary public. So this is the new entry on dishonor. I repeat, drawee account debit because drawee again becomes the debtor of the drawer to bills receivable account because bill receivable which was previously drawn few months back is now getting cancelled, and for the noting charges paid it is to cash account credit. You must refer illustration number 8 on page 16.16 of your textbook where there is a question with Amar as drawer and Bhaskar as drawee. So I'm just talking about the date of maturity which is April 4 in this illustration. You must refer it from your book, children. When the bill gets dishonored, the drawer Amar is passing entry on April 4, Bhaskar account debit 51,000 to bills receivable account 50,000 to cash account 1,000. Being bills receivable dishonored and noting charges paid by Amar. Whereas the drawee Bhaskar will pass the entry bills payable account debit, noting charges account debit to Amar, being the bills payable dishonored and noting charges paid by Amar. This we will discuss when we go into the drawee's book. So I hope the first case of bill retained and dishonored on due date is clear to all of you. Please go through this illustration number 8 and solve it in your copy, and we will do it in our online class also. Now we move to case 2 when the bill was previously discounted with the bank and it gets dishonored for non-payment by the drawee. In this case again drawee will be debited to bank account. Drawee account debit to bank account. Why are we debiting drawee? Drawee is again the debtor of the drawer when the bill gets dishonored. Now we cannot credit bill receivable here because the drawer is not the holder of the bill. The bill is with bank. So we have to credit bank account because bank becomes the creditor of the drawer. So drawee is debtor of the drawer, bank is creditor. Drawer has to take money from drawee and give it to bank. So one party is debtor, another is creditor. Being bills dishonored and noting charges paid by bank. For this, you must refer illustration number 10 and 11 in your textbook, where in 10 10th illustration, the drawer is Amrit. So on the dishonor date, Amrit is passing entry on April 4, Bhanu account debit to bank account 51,000, 51,000. Now the difference between the previous case and this case is, in previous case noting charges was credited to cash account. Why? Because the drawer himself pays the amount to the notary public. But in case of discounting of bill, the noting charges is not paid by drawer but it is paid by bank because bank is the holder of the bill. So what we will do is we will include the noting charges in the same dishonor entry. So this entry will include amount related to bill. In illustration number 10, the bill amount was 50,000 and noting charges was 1,000. So drawee will be debited with 51,000, that is Bhanu, and bank will be credited with 51,000. Please go through this illustration in your book number 10 and 11 and do it in your copy, and we will also discuss it in our online class. Now come case 3. When the bill is endorsed previously and it gets dishonored for non-payment. So I hope you remember endorsement. So whenever the bill previously endorsed gets dishonored due to non-payment, the journal entry in the book of drawer goes drawee account debit to endorsee account. The same concept applies. Drawee becomes the debtor of the drawer and endorsee becomes the creditor of the drawer, being the bills dishonored and noting charges paid by endorsee. And for this, you must refer illustration number 12, where there are three parties: A, the drawer, B, the drawee, and C, endorsee. Now, we are just talking about entries in the book of drawer. So, A drawer on the due date or date of maturity, April 4, will be passing entry for illustration 12 for dishonor, which will be B debit 5,100 to C 5,100, because B is the drawer and C is the endorsee. The noting charges in this case will be paid by the endorsee C. So when we are doing online class, we will do this question and we will discuss entries in all the three parties book, that is drawer, drawee and endorsee A, B and C. I hope this is clear. So you must go through this illustration and do it in your copy. Now we go with the last case when the bill was previously sent to bank for collection and it is dishonored for non-payment by the drawee. The entry goes drawee account debit to bills sent for collection account to bank account. Now children, remember, whenever the bills are sent for collection, the bank is only an agent of the drawer. Bank is not the holder of the bill. The holder is still the drawer. So we will debit drawee because drawee is again the debtor when it gets dishonored. Bill sent for collection account was previously debited. So to cancel it, we will credit it to bill sent for collection account, and bank account will be credited with the amount of noting charges paid. For this, refer illustration number 14 in your textbook, which talks about the bill which was sent for collection getting dishonored, and the entry for dishonor will be drawee debit, that is Y, on January 4 to bill set for collection account, that is the amount of the bill, and to bank account with the noting charges. So Y is debited with 15,000, which includes bills amount 14,500 plus noting charges. Bill sent for collection account is credited with 14,500 and bank is credited with 500, that is noting charges. So solve this illustration in your copy. So these are the four cases which we have discussed. Entries in the books of the drawer when the bill gets dishonored. Now let us discuss the entry in the book of the drawee whenever the bills get dishonored. In any of the above case, the drawee will have only one common entry. And what is that entry? Bills payable account debit, noting charges account debit to drawer. I repeat, bills payable account debit, because the drawee is cancelling the bills payable which was previously accepted. So when it was accepted, bills payable account was credited. Now it is being debited. Noting charges is not being paid by drawee, it is being paid by the holder of the bill, either the drawer himself or the bank or the endorsee. But the drawee knows that this noting charges will be recovered from him whenever he will be making the payment of the bill. So for drawee, noting charges is an expense and it has to be debited in every case. To drawer is now the creditor again for the drawee. So drawer will be credited with the amount of the bill as well as noting charges. Now, children, long back we have done the concept, and there was a accounting concept of principle of prudence, which says all future losses are to be recorded whenever they are met. So here, noting charges is debited because of that accounting concept of prudence or conservatism. So that is all about the entries when the bill gets dishonored in the books of the drawer and in the books of the drawee. Now, one thing is to be taken care. If in your question noting charges is not there, then this debit noting charges will not be a part of a question. You just need to remove it. Whenever noting charges comes in a question, you have to debit noting charges in the book of the drawing. And in the book of the drawer, I've already told you, in case when it was retained, you have to write it separately to cash account. So if noting charges is not there, this to cash account will not be a part of your solution. And in all the other three cases, the noting charges was already included in the amount of the bill, both in debit and credit side. That will not be a part of your amount. Only the bill amount will be recorded. So that brings an end to our concept for accounting treatment of bills of exchange at the time of dishonor of bill. You must go through this once again properly, see and refer your illustrations, do it in a copy, and do make a note of all these content in this video. So we end today's class here with the topic dishonor of bill and its accounting treatment. Hope you all have understood it. Take care of yourself, keep studying, and God bless you all.